During the First World War, a couple shifted to an island in the middle of nowhere as the world had become uninhabitable. Dr. Friedrich, a philosopher, with his lover Dora, are here for the purpose of establishing a groundbreaking philosophy to change the world. Meanwhile, a new family arrives on the island on a boat. They are here looking for them and soon meet up. Heinz introduces his wife, Margaret, and his son, Harry. They assume Dora is Friedrich's wife, but she reveals they aren't married. Heinz tells them that they have read his work and have become inspired to start a new life here, escaping from the chaos of war in Germany. They are both visibly uninterested in having them, but have to welcome them anyway. Friedrich makes them a place to live, and it is nothing but a cave. The only source of water is droppings from the rocks. Helplessly, they have to get in. While Friedrich and Dora are alone, he expresses his dissatisfaction with having them there. Dora asks him to leave them be and focus on his work. Friedrich says that he has arranged them in the cave, and it is impossible to grow crops in there, and they will leave soon. Margaret and her family find it hard to sleep, often bothered by mosquitoes. They have to arrange for a wall and work exhaustively to make the cave a home. One night, Margaret tells Heinz that she is pregnant, which makes him very happy, but Margaret isn't very pleased with the idea of having a baby in a place like that. Soon, they hear dogs barking outside and figure out that they have eaten one crate of canned food. Friedrich is focused on his writing, but Margaret comes and tries to make friends with him, further bothering him. Dora suggests they make love, and in between a gunfire is heard. From afar, there is a boat. Inside, it is Baroness Eloise. She comes, taken in by two men. As she enters the island, she is very excited and goes for a swim with the two guys. She makes out with Rudy and soon kisses Robert, making him a bit astounded as their employee, Ray, watches. While Friedrich is writing frustratingly and Dora is sowing some seedlings, the Baroness appears with the men. She meets Dora and expects her to kiss her hand, but Dora shakes her dirty one with hers. Friedrich comes out, unclothed, and Eloise keeps appreciating his philosophy and desire to know a good place to set up. He sends them to Margaret's location, and they start bathing inside the pond, which is their only source of water. Soon, Margaret and Heinz come, and Eloise, once again with her charm, tries to make friends with them. She tells them that they're their new neighbor and are here to build a hotel. She introduces Rudy as her engineer and Robert as her bodyguard. She forwards him some mails they have received from the mainland, and there are some for Friedrich as well. As Heinz gets them to Friedrich, he finds them open and soon confronts Eloise, asking why she would do that. Eloise turns the conversation to Friedrich, saying that he is the one who sent them to his location, trying to create a conflict between them, so they leave and he is left alone. Days pass by, and Heinz and Dora are making good progress, catching cows for food and building the house. Eloise and her partners are still on the same ground, trying to start the work on the hotel. Friedrich, on the other hand, can't write anymore, seeing their crops are drying. He is frustrated and reaches Heinz to take the cow's head in exchange of ducks. Dora is there, and she requests that he help deliver the baby since he is a doctor, but he outright refuses and leaves. Seeing him cooking meat, Dora is surprised since they are vegetarians. She is bothered seeing him leave his principles. But Friedrich shows jealousy towards Heinz and his family, saying they have made the place so great. Dora is frustrated and tells him that he keeps forgetting why they came here in the first place. After digging for hours, Rudy finds no source of water and returns to the camp, where Eloise is busy making love with her bodyguard. She comes out and asks him to make some food, but he tells her all the food is gone. Eloise gets tense, and Rudy yells at her, saying that there has been no progress so far and she has ruined them. Eloise runs out into the jungle, devastated, where she is met by Heinz's son, Harry. Seeing him, she plots another plan and makes friends with him. She further asks him to do a favor for her. The next day, Harry goes out to hunt, telling Margaret that he is going to hunt with his father. In the meantime, Eloise's men attempt to sneak into the house. But worse still, Margaret starts having labor pains. She goes out of the house to ask Eloise for help while the men get in and start stealing the cans. She re-enters the room and starts fixing up the bed while the men have hidden themselves. She goes out again looking for Heinz, but there is no one and the dogs start coming towards her. Eloise sees the can and is frustrated that it's not enough. Meanwhile, Rudy demands that they go and help Margaret, but Eloise orders him to stop because he works for her. Dogs cover up Margaret as she hides in the little den, trying to keep them away. She eventually gives birth to the baby and falls. Right then, Heinz and Ray come in, saving her. They assume the baby is not alive, but it soon starts crying, and they're satisfied. Soon, Heinz reaches Friedrich's house, asking him to come down and check his wife because she is sick. Although he doesn't care, but Dora makes him go. Friedrich reaches and helps her with the pain. Meanwhile, Ray curses Eloise for her cruel nature, and she fires him. Eloise reaches Margaret's house, congratulating her on the baby and gifting her her own can of food, telling them that Ray was a thief and she fired him. She further invites her for lunch and leaves. Heinz doesn't want to go, but Margaret tells him that they should because she is dangerous. At lunch, everyone is present, and she welcomes them with a dance that no one really likes, other than Harry and Robert. Eloise constantly tries to talk everyone against one another until causing a collision between Friedrich and Dora as she walks out. Friedrich gets angry at her and asks her to get off his island. Immediately, Eloise brings out a gun, and everyone is threatened. She says that the island doesn't belong to him, rather to her, and the governor of the country where the land exists has given her 1,000 hectares of land to build a hotel. Friedrich frustratingly watches the document and is pissed off because he is only given 16 hectares. The family decides to leave as well, and Eloise asks Margaret if she would like to say anything in a threatening manner. She pleasantly thanks her for the food. As they reach home, they find Friedrich on their doorstep, and he asks for a rifle in exchange for 10 kilos of rice. They worry about it, but the deal is good, and they decide to sell a rifle. Months go by, and it is summer. The water has gone dry, and it is Rudolph who comes to the door of the family and requests some food, saying he hasn't eaten in days. They make him plate. He tells them Eloise is not so posh at all. She was driven away from home and made a fortune off her looks. He tells them how she has seduced him into this misery and then made him her servant. Rudolph returns to their mostly devastated camp, and Eloise curses at him because he has begged for food from the neighbors. They get into a scuffle, and she slaps him, and he slaps her back. Eventually, Robert jumps at him and kicks him unconscious. A few days later, a filmmaker appears with a crew on the island. Hearing the news, Eloise decides to clean up her camp since they are the people who can help them now. The man named Alan meets with Friedrich, and seeing that they have brought in a lot of food supplies, he happily hugs him. Alan goes to meet Eloise, who, once again with her charm, tries to get closer to him. During the night, they all sit together, and Margaret is happy hearing the music they play. It's been a long time since any of them has come across such a gathering. They look at an erupting volcano far away, as Friedrich believes that Eloise will take him under her control. And before she does that, he decides to steal enough food. Dora stops him immediately, saying he is changing so fast that he is forgetting all his principles. However, he doesn't care to listen to her and takes most of the supplies away. After everyone leaves, Eloise tries to lure the director towards her. She makes a drama that her chest hurts and attempts to take his hands towards her, but Alan laughs it off immediately. He can easily see her technique, and no matter how much she tries to convince him, Alan doesn't fall prey to it. He leaves, and Eloise finds out that her storage is almost empty. She orders the guys to look for it everywhere. The next morning, Friedrich finds out that all the supplies are gone from his storage. He soon reaches the family and tells Heinz that they have to pick a side now and confront Eloise. Both men reach Eloise's camp and ask them to return the property she has stolen. She laughs at them and tells Heinz that taking Friedrich's side won't help him with anything. Soon, Friedrich points his gun at them, and Robert does the same. Soon, Heinz's son and Margaret come in to stop the fight. They tame it down and return as Friedrich breaks down his typewriter. Dora stops him and says that she won't let him destroy them. Friedrich takes his gun and goes out to shoot, taking the canned foods. She stops him, saying the chickens need food, and Friedrich gives her some rotten food. She doesn't like to give it to them, however, Friedrich gives it to them anyway. Rudolph is having dinner with the family as Eloise asks him outside. As he reaches her, she offers him to leave, saying that a ship will pass by in the morning, and he can reach them, but before he leaves, he has to do something for her. At night, Heinz and Margaret hear sound from outside. They reach out and find out that all the animals are dead, and it is all done by Rudolph. In the morning, Dora calls Friedrich, saying that all the chickens are dead. She also can't find her cow and desperately reaches the family and falls unconscious. Heinz brings her home. There, Heinz tries to confront Friedrich about last night's incident, passively blaming him. Friedrich gets angry, and just then, Rudolph runs out of the bush. Meanwhile, Robert reaches Eloise, saying that her plan has worked because Heinz suspects Friedrich of last night's incident. Friedrich and Heinz follow Rudolph and catch him. He cries that she has made him do all that. The two men now decide to do something about it. Heinz returns home and sends his wife and his son outside with the excuse to get woods because they have to protect the roof. Margaret suspects something, but she leaves anyway. Heinz is then joined by Friedrich and Rudolph. They grab some guns and approach Eloise's camp. Robert immediately rushes out, being in the middle of making love, and attacks them. He puts down Heinz and Friedrich and pins down Rudolph to almost end him. However, Heinz comes from behind and locks him in, and then stabs him to death. He is shocked, along with everyone else. Soon, Eloise comes out, and seeing that Robert has died, she rushes to Heinz, saying that Robert has been abusing her for so long. They don't buy it, and she attempts to make amends with them, saying she will share half of her land. But just then, Friedrich shoots her from behind. The gunshot is heard by Margaret as well. They then take the body and dump it in the water. In the evening, Heinz returns home. Despite sensing something, Margaret remains quiet and comforts him. In the morning, Friedrich comes in with a forged letter from Robert, who says that they have left the island with Eloise. Rudolph decides to sell her things off, and then Margaret finds the book she was reading. Later, Margaret approaches Heinz and tells him that Friedrich will set him up for murder. She knows that Friedrich has murdered her, and she has written her last words in the book. She knows it's not Heinz because his gun is fully loaded. She knows that soon the governor will reach the island with police. Friedrich has apparently called the governor and believes the island will all be there soon. Dora doesn't approve of his behavior, but he has turned insane and abusive. He takes a plus to pull off her hurting tooth. Later, Margaret meets with Dora in the woods and tries to talk to her about their situation, but Dora pretends that everything is fine. She tells her that he is aware of Friedrich's plan, and if they are off this island, then it will be worse for her because she will be left alone with the monster he has become. She fights that they are the ones who took their peace, but she has realized the truth nevertheless. In the morning, a boat passes by the beach, and Rudolph runs for his aid. He is eventually seen and taken in. As Dora reaches Friedrich, he acts more unusually, saying he has discovered a new philosophy. Men are animals above all. Killing one another is part of human nature. Dora eventually makes a drastic move, bringing in the rotten chicken and making it for Friedrich at lunch. He is a little stunned seeing chicken among their broken situation, but eats anyway. Friedrich has fallen sick, and she calls up the family. However, it is too late, and Friedrich dies in her arms, cursing her. Realizing what she has done, Margaret senses it too, but remains quiet. Later, the governor arrives with the police and suspects the family of the murder of Eloise. But Margaret turns it around to Dora, saying Friedrich couldn't have died from food poisoning after surviving here for years. She further tells them she is the one who gave her chicken the last night. The police eventually take Dora away, and the family remains the last people on the island. The bodies of Eloise and Robert are never found. Dora publishes a book about the incident on the island, and Margaret publishes her own book contradicting the situation. Rudolph doesn't make it out either, as they're shipwrecked and they were found on a beach. Margaret lived on the island till her death, and her descendants still live on the island, running a small tourist hotel. So, that was a recap for the 2024 movie Eden. For more recaps like this, stay subscribed to the channel. And if you have liked this video, you may also like this.